Let's go. Check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2. Stereo Child, welcome in. We are live. Let's go. Y'all, welcome in to the live stream. Let's go. Stereo Child, appreciate you hopping in. Jay Steele, good to see you, brother. I hope you're doing amazing tonight. Let me double check this real quick. Yes, we're live there and we're live there. Y'all, we are live right now on Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok. Thank you so much for hopping in. If you are coming in for the first time, welcome to the family. I appreciate y'all being here so much. I'm just going to be on for a couple hours tonight. Hopefully get into maybe a few long form consultations on here. And maybe work through a few things, but I appreciate y'all being here so much. If you have never been here before, welcome to Track Talk. Welcome to the family. My name is Torvik. I'm a full-time audio engineer, producer, and session musician. It's what I do for a living. It's what I've done for 13 plus years. I'm also a classically trained musician. So the goal, Time Mind, good to see you. We got some legends in here. So good to see you, Time Mind. I hope you're doing amazing. Andrew's in here as well. Andrew, welcome into the live stream. So what we do here at Track Talk, for those of you who maybe have never been here before, Alice, welcome in. Are these long form consultations. So in between working on different elements and working through some productions and mixes and stuff, we'll work through some consultations as well. These are 20 to 30 minute plus long form consultations. We go through artists and musicians and new engineers and stuff like that. We go through their tracks for about 20 to 30 minutes multiple times to get into the nuances of the mix and master, production elements, sound design choices, lyric and song formatting, stuff like that. So if you are interested at all in a full breakdown, a long form consultation, if you're on TikTok, just go to my profile, click on the link tree, you'll see the tab right there. If you're on YouTube, go to the description. On Twitch, you can just hit !submit right there in the chat and you'll see the link pop up for you. Wizardly is in the building. What's up, Wizardly? Thank you so much for hopping in. I appreciate you being here. Andrew, it's so good to see you, man. I hope you're doing fantastic. I feel like it's been a minute. Ray's Ram, welcome in as well. Thanks for hopping in, y'all. I appreciate y'all being here. Let's see. Let me make sure I open up the stream over here too real quick. Whiplash, you broke my neck. Ray, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that a lot. How you feeling today? All right, let me get this switched over here. So glad to hear it. So glad to hear it. Here you go. Perfect. All right. If y'all are over on TikTok, make sure y'all are tapping the screen as well. Share it the live with a few people. Don't forget to send in your heartbeat for the day as well. Was it under a different? Were you under a different name before, Ray? Or maybe maybe my brain's glitching. My brain has been very foggy today. Very foggy. What genres do you gravitate toward? Lisa, thank you so much for hopping in. As far as consumption or work, I mean, it's pretty. I saw you on IG. Okay, cool. Yay! I'm glad, man. I'm glad. I appreciate you hopping in. What genres do you gravitate towards? For me personally, and like my personal production structure and like what I consume tends to be a lot of like 80s influence. So I like some classic 80s stuff, synth wave, synth pop, dream pop, dark wave stuff. So Depeche Mode, Tears for Fears, Mike Dean, Kavinsky, kind of in the midnight, kind of in that range. I feel like that's kind of what I tend to gravitate towards. But as far as like the work that I do, it's all over the place. Like I've got. Okay, got you. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you hopping in on TikTok too. I appreciate you. Yeah, it's a little bit all over the place though. I mean, I've got pop records, I've got rap records, I've got an opera track that I'm doing like a cinematic synth bass to. So I've got a whole lot of random stuff going on, but it tends to be I like to consume and work in a lot of different genres. I feel like it keeps me sharp as a musician, keeps my ears sharp as a producer and engineer. Adam Snyder, welcome in. I appreciate you being here as well. Alix is in the building. What's up, Alix? Good to see you, bro. Just quick reminder as well. Let me throw it up onto the screen. If y'all are wanting to submit for a consultation tonight, I'm not going to be on for very long, so I would definitely do that sooner rather than later, as I don't want to waste too much time. I want to get into stuff pretty quick. So if you want to submit for a consultation, just follow the steps that are right here on the screen. If you're on TikTok, you just follow my profile to that link right there. Once again, if you are on Twitch, just hit !submit. If you're on YouTube, then you can just go to my description in the live and you'll see all of the tools and all of the steps and stuff there. I'm writing a musical that has a nice 80s hairband song in it, but vocals are not recorded yet. Is that what you're saying? That's cool. I like that. That's fun. Is it going to be like a play, or is it like a show, something like that, or is it just like a musical album? Let me know. I'm interested. Yeah, just a few tracks tonight, y'all. It's already late. I've been live late like pretty much this whole week, and it's tough. It's tough. So I'm gonna try to be on earlier next week too. It's weird with the holidays. Work is weird. Projects are all over the place. Like, I feel like it's been a lot more chaotic lately. Zachary's in the building. What's up, Zachary? Good to see you, man. I appreciate you hopping in. Let me see. Yes, a Broadway musical called Moms, or MOMS. Very cool. I like that. That's very, very cool. Have you written like a screenplay before, or written a Broadway play before? That's really cool. Zachary, it's so good to see you. We just got our drum tracks back. Still got to track guitar and vocals. Let's go, Andrew. Dude, let's go. I'm so excited for you. But we will be submitting when we get the first track. Perfect, dude. Oh, I'm so excited, man. I love your music. Love your music. Musical of Mom's Spectaculation. Let's go. Losty, welcome in. Thank you so much for hopping in. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Yeah, I just got on, Zachary. I just got on. So we're just getting things moving. Just getting things flowing. So yeah, get yourself up there. Derek Bennett's in the building. Coming in hot. Let's go. Let me double check a few things. Murder Skrilla, thank you so much for hopping in over on Twitch. I see you, man. Thank you so much for hopping in. These are probably in a similar vein to music reviews, but these are very, very long form. So these are 20 to 30 minute consultations on the structure of your music. So you absolutely can send it. Actually hit !submit in the chat. !submit in the chat, and you'll see everything that you need right there. But yeah, these are 20 to 30 minute consultations. We're actually going to listen to your track multiple times, so we can get into the details of your mix and master, production elements. We're going to get into sound design and lyric structure. We're going to break down the entire thing, and really my focus with that is to offer you as many tools and as much actionable and professional feedback as possible, so we can really get into the nuances of what you're doing, look at it from a professional perspective, and give you as many tools as possible. So yeah, you walk through those steps there. We're going to start getting some people up on the board here. We do have Derek Bennet in the building. Zachary, feel free to send in whatever. Elisa, thank you so much for the follow on TikTok. I appreciate that so much. Thank you for that. All right, let's get Derek up here. Derek, I got you with your 15. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate your submission. Let's double check a couple other things. Thank you so much. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you for the heart me as well. Libby and Derek Bennet, thank you for the heart me. It means a lot. Double tap, Ray. I appreciate you. Let me double check one thing here while I'm getting this up and running. Trying to make sure I don't miss any chat over here. Elisa said written novels and plays, first musical. Well, I wish you the absolute best of luck with that. That sounds fun. It'd be fun to. I'm just a fan of like doing a lot of different things. I would really love to score. That's like my next. It's like my next thing that I'm kind of making a North Star of something I really want to do. I would love to do some. I would love to do like some synthesized scoring and stuff like that. So I'm excited for potentially some opportunities in the future. That'd be really fun. Derek, it's good to see you, man. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for the likes as well. Lines up. Okay, I've got the lineup on the board. I got Derek up there. I still got TK from the other day as well. I'm going to keep them up there, so if they come in, that they have their spot. Let me double check a few things. Matthew's back in the building. Welcome back over on YouTube. It's so good to see you. I hope you're doing fantastic. I literally earlier this morning was thinking of the song that you sent in. It's super, super fun. Excel, thank you for hopping in as well. I see you on TikTok. I hope you're doing amazing. Akira, if you would like to send, go to my profile and click on my link tree. You'll see the tab right there, close to the top. Just the submission form right there. Yeah, if you're on TikTok profile, go to the link. On Twitch, !submit. On YouTube, go to the description and you can send in your songs right there. We're actually going to jump straight into the music here. We have Derek Bennet in the building, so let me turn off Spotify for a second and let's let me just double check that I have all of my tracks updated here. There's Derek Bennett's email, just came in. Beautiful. Fabulous. Let's see. Oh, no. All right, got the email and I've got you up on the line already. Let me just make sure. Yeah. All right, let's run it. Let's get straight into some music, y'all. I'll do one just quick spiel, like I already did earlier, just before we actually kickstart the music. We get these tracks downloaded, so on and so on. If you are coming in for the first time, Skater Boy, welcome in. Appreciate you being here. If you're coming in for the first time, welcome to Track Talk. Welcome to the family. This is an amazing community of people that love music and love people that love music. It's a really great spot. This entire community is not a negative one. It's also not just like a hype live and an exposure live, but it's really not. We're not here to roast you. We're not here to trash you. We're not here to tear you apart. We are here to offer professional and actionable advice and structure for what you're doing creatively. So if you are looking for a long form consultation, that is what we're doing here. This is not a quick review. There is no trash or pass. There's no ratings. There's no polls. That's not what we're here for at all. We're not going to listen for 5 minutes, tell you to get a better mix and then move on. These are like 25 to 30 minute long per track, multiple listens. We're going to go 2 to 3 times through the structure of your song to get into the details of your mix and master, production elements, sound design, and lyric structure, song formatting, so on and so on. Like I said, we're going to spend about 30 minutes breaking down the song, communicating with you about the details of it, getting some kind of nuance and some context on what you're doing, why you're doing it, so we can help polish and improve the structure of what you're doing. So again, 25 to 30 minutes long, multiple listens through the song structure. Not just like a quick review. It's not a pay to play. It's not like a quick thing like that. This is a long form breakdown. And for those of you who don't know, my name is Torvik. I am a full-time audio engineer, producer, and session musician. That is what I do for a living. It's what I do full time. I'm also a classically trained musician. So if you are wanting to get into the nuance and the context of your music and get into the details and really fine tune what you're doing, that's what this entire live structure is about. Like I said, it's not a quick review, no trash or pass, no ratings, no polls. My sole goal is to offer as much value as possible and as much actionable feedback as we have the capacity to offer with what we're listening to. All right, let me get into a couple things. Let me double check over here really quick. Derek, let me get your Dropbox opened up here. We are going to kick it off first with Derek Bennet. Jenna, welcome in. Jenna, I appreciate you hopping in. Sorry, I've seen other people tag Jenna, so I'm assuming you're here. Thank you so much for being here. Angel, welcome in as well. Oh, all right, let me see real quick. Excel, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for saying that. And then Kira, yeah, starts at 15. Excel, I appreciate you so much. And Callum, I think some people have already let you know. Yeah, Derek, I appreciate you so much. Yeah, if you're on, I'll mention it really quickly between the 3 different platforms that we're live on right now. If you are on the TikTok live, go to my profile, click on the link. You'll see the tab right there towards the top. If you're on Twitch, hit ! Submit in the chat and the link will pop up for you. If you're on YouTube, just go down to the description of the live stream and you'll see the link right there for you as well. Just so y'all have an idea on the different platforms. See Jenna there. I see Jenna's name. Jenna, it's so good to see you. Welcome in. I appreciate you being here. Oh no, Let's see. Catching up. Let's see. Beautiful. Botanical, welcome in as well. Appreciate you being here. Okay, it's time for some music. It is time for some music. Is it Bjark? Thank you so much for hopping in. I really appreciate you being here, and thank you so much for the follow. It means a lot. All right, we've got Derek Bennet in the building. Show some love to Derek Bennet in the chat. Talk to me about what this track is. This is Don't Move. The name seems fairly familiar. It's fairly. Have I heard this? Is this an update on a track, or is this fresh to me as well? Purple, welcome in as well. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome into the live stream, y'all. Let me catch up on some details. Leaky's welcome in. Comet welcome in. It was either Track Talk submission or random plugin I won't use. So easy choice, Zachary. I appreciate you. I know I'm on a strict no buying move right now. Let me throw up the line just really quick. So this is currently where we're at. I'm gonna double check a few things as we go. Zachary, I got you. Okay, hold on. I gotta make sure I get all this in order because I wasn't paying attention to my phone. Give me 1 second, y'all. So I'm actually going to push Zachary. I had things in the wrong order, but Derek, I do have you pulled up. So let me get this. I wasn't paying attention to my phone, so I wasn't getting the notification. My bad, y'all. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. No, All right, I think I'm caught up. I think I'm caught up. All right, let's get into some music. So I've got Derek's track pulled up over here, but we're actually going to run. Zachary, did you send the email over? I don't see it currently, but double check that it's going to the right place if you haven't sent it yet, because I do have you. Let me throw up the line again. Sorry, my bad, y'all. Let me throw up the line. I do have Zachary, and then I have Derek. Currently speaking, we're gonna get into some music here in just a second, y'all. If you're on TikTok, make sure y'all are tapping the screen, share out the live with a few people. Okay, let me double check spam then. Let me double check spam. Nope, it's not in spam. We'll give it a second. You sent it to the. Let me see. You sent it to Track Talk Submission. Torvik, where is that from? Yeah, it's Norwegian. It's Norwegian. I know I'm missing some comments too. Yeah, double check that it went to the right place, Zachary. That way I can get you in the right spot. But yeah, Torvik is like the fjords. I would love to go. Would love to live there, but I can't because it's too hard to move there. I wish it wasn't so hard. Purple Face, line is up on the board right now. We just hopped on. I'm not going to be on for very long. Zachary just got it in. Just got it on. Written and produced by me, and I don't think I've shown. Okay, so this one from Derek should be fresh. I know. I'll recognize it if I've heard it recently, but we'll see here in a second. Let's go. I got you, Excel. I got you. I'm saying that right. I'm assuming I see the XZ and the EL. I'm assuming it's XL, right? Or is it XEEL? I'm just like making up names at this point, but correct me if I'm wrong. I do want to make sure that I'm getting your name right, but I'm assuming it's XL. That makes sense to me. All right, hold on. Let me catch up. I'm not from Norway. I wish. All right. You might have sent it with the period in the email. Sorry. Catching up on the comments on a different device here so I can still see it. All right, y'all. It's time for some music. Zachary, I got your song right here. So right now, as you can see on the board, I have TK from the other day, just in case they hop back in. So they have their spot. That's what I figured. I figured that's what it was. So I just want to make sure I'm getting it right. We got Zachary up first, and then we have Derek Bennet coming up here in just a second. Let's get into the music. It needs a high-end boost in saturation since the beat is so damn low and heavy. This is Zachary right here in the email. I'm looking for some feedback in terms of making this the one. I feel it's the first time my performance and vision have aligned. Want to make this one special. Rollout planned, release scheduled with distro company, content in the works. Okay, so is it already out in... Are you saying it's already out in distribution? That's so true, Libby. That's so true. I take it back. Right. I was in the right place at the right time. I take it back. All right. Nothing could change that. Nothing could change that. I'll be born anywhere if it meant that. All right. Black Nails. Let's get into it, man. I'm excited. Not released yet. Okay, got you. But it's not sent to distribution yet. I just want to make sure I was clear with the email. All right, this is Black Nails by Zachary Fickus. Let's get into it. Type. Thank you for the heartbeat, Zach. I'm too cynical. She like the way that I move, the way that I dance. That shit's a life ring. Ain't afraid of the clothes, I'll take a chance, babe. I like high stakes. Sounds good, Derek. Like no stepping on wallet. Wake up in the morning. Then I go right back to snoring. Got a back girl, she on it. Baby, I see you calling, but I'm too damn busy stalling. She still straight to no balance. I go Cardi on the beat, I'm balling. Late nights on the balling. Zone while she Remind me of the production of this. Who handled production on this? Let's go. Y'all, show some love one time for Zachary right here in the chat. It's one of the family. Zachary's been around for a minute. I'm so excited to break down this track, man. Let's get into the details. Victoria, welcome in. I appreciate you being here. Dylan, DLG, I saw you in here as well. Thank you so much for hopping into the live stream. Quick reminder before we get into kind of the depths of this consultation, if you would like to submit for a 20 to 30 minute multiple listen consultation on TikTok, go to my profile, click on the link, follow the details there. On YouTube, go to the description. On Twitch, hit ! Submit. Zachary, let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. Had a smaller creator, figures that, but I'll find them. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Sounds good. So they did the beat. They created the beat, and this is your vocals and mix, correct? All right, let's dive in. Let's run it from the top. Run it from the top. This is Zachary. The song is called Black Nails. Let's get into it. Let's run it from the top. Type.
I'm too cynical. She like the way that I move, the way that I dance. That shit's a life ring. Ain't afraid of the clothes. I'll take a chance, babe. I like high stakes.
So I'm reading through your email too to get a little bit of context and then compare that to what I'm listening to. It needs a high-end boost in saturation since the beat is so heavy. Are you working off a 2-track? Like, are you mixing your vocals over a 2-track? It's already really catchy though. Those melodies are catchy. Or do you have all the multi-track? Mariah, welcome in. Thank you so much for hopping in. Appreciate you being here. Sketch, it's good to see you as well. Thanks for hopping in. Yeah, I don't have the skills for. Okay, I got you. I want to double check. Okay, so I'm listening for a couple things. This is already really yet. I like that. You don't have the skills yet. Okay. A couple things that I'm noticing. So you're saying that it needs more of a high-end boost and more saturation. In my opinion, it might already have, I'll say too much loosely, because there's a lot of stylistic choices that you're making, or a lot of genre-specific choices. Like, it's got a very underground feel, and I want to maintain that, right? You know, distorted bass, it hits heavy. It's like the perception of everything just clipping and blasting through speakers, even at a low volume. I don't mind that. I wanted to maintain some of that underground feel because I think it's important to the genre. Shipwreck, welcome in over on Twitch. So good to see you. Appreciate you being here. So I want to maintain that because I do think it's important to the genre and what you're doing. But in my, on your vocal, okay, got you. Okay, that makes more sense. Trace Move, welcome in. That makes more sense because I'm listening to the beat, and the beat has almost too far of a high end. It has this like very U-shaped curve where it's very heavy in the far low end and very bright, almost harsh and kind of brittle at the far top end, especially the high end of the snare and the hats, where it's a little abrasive. It's a little harsh, you know, at like 6K, 7K, kind of those higher pockets there. I would soften that on the production and give your vocals some space to take up more of kind of like your high end elements there, right? Because it's pretty bright and a little bit harsh, especially if you get this really loud. My test for a lot of like mixes and stuff is how loud can I make this before it hurts? You know what I mean? And if it doesn't take much for you to make a painful mix, then we need to rebalance some things, right? So if you just start to turn up your mix a little bit and the vocals are like, oof, ow, that doesn't sound good, then you're robbing the consumer of the ability to like really like blast your music, right? And so my test is like, whether it's like an Adele contemporary song that you want to blast in the car and cry to, or it's a hard hitting trap beat, or, you know, a drill production or whatever it may be, how loud can I make this before it overwhelms the system I'm listening on, or is just so harsh that I can't listen anymore? A good balance on a mix. You can crank very, very loud, and it doesn't sound harsh, right? You're at the whim of the system that you're listening on. So what I would look for is a little bit better balance on the production itself. Mixing with gaming headphones, but then it makes perfect sense. Javi, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that a lot. That does make a lot of sense. So here's what's typically going to happen. You're mixing on gaming headphones. This happens when people mix on like Apple earbuds and stuff like that too, is you're missing some of the like really high end, like really clean, clear high end, and the real, 100 hertz and below, and 8,000 hertz and above. You're missing a lot of like clarity and distinction in those realms. So what ends up happening when you're not mixing on a halfway decent, I'm not even talking a crazy setup, but a halfway decent setup, is you will tend to over exaggerate those things, so you do hear them in your mix, right? So you might hyperinflate the far low end, your subharmonics and stuff like that, and you'll probably crank the high end because that's when it finally comes alive in your headphones, right? When the reality is on played on any other system, and played on, all of a sudden you go to your car, or someone listens to it in their car with a Bose sound system, or a Bowers and Wilkins, or whatever it may be, right? Or they listen on their soundbar with the sub, and it completely overwhelms the mix, right? And it sounds nasty and it sounds crazy. So my goal with a mix like yours, especially if you're mixing off headphones, is don't try to inflate anything to make a lower quality setup sound more high fidelity, because inevitably when it does go to any other slightly higher high fidelity set, even like AirPod Pros, you know what I mean? Like not even like a crazy setup, but even in just a slightly higher fidelity setup, those are going to be exaggerated even more. So I would mix a lot flatter. To keep things really even, and flat. This is why, like, honestly, this is why a lot of engineers will mix on like crappy speakers sometimes, or like NS10s are a great example of this, where they're not the highest fidelity speaker. They're a bit like crunch and mid forward, and they're a little boxy. And so when people are mixing off of those, they get a really like accurate representation of what's going on without it being like incredibly high fidelity. So it can be really nice to reference on those, because you get a more like balanced approach to your music. You're not hyperinflating anything. And so, but what I hear oftentimes is that this kind of, especially on a more amateur mix, is this inflation on the far low end and the far high end to make up for and compensate for an imbalance in their references, right? So let me catch up on I see a lot of comments. So let me Rapaholic, is so good to see you, man. I hope you're doing fantastic. Thank you, man. It's been a work in progress for a while, so I appreciate you so much, man. Is mastered and already getting close to negative -1 to be worried about clipping on DSPs. You're not going to clip on the DSPs aren't going to clip. They're not going to do anything to clip. Max Zook, welcome in. How many OTTs should I put on the master? All of them. Put them all in there. If you don't have 6 OTTs on your master, I don't think you're a real engineer. All right, let's see. I'm trying to read through some of the comments here too. -1. Okay, so yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about like your LUFs and like stuff like that. If you have a well balanced mix, you can push loudness, right? If it's Shipwreck puts 50 OTTs. I think Pro Tools only allows me to put like 10 plugins on there. So you got some special stuff. You got some special stuff going on there. All right, let me get a little bit farther into this. I want to listen to a couple other details here. But speaking to the production now, I would soften some of the high end push. Let's get into it here. Yeah, you can just soften those curves a little bit, right? Just to give you a little bit more headroom to really push things, right? So far top end and far low end, you can just rebalance. So I'm assuming on the production you have like an EQ on there where you're kind of opening up the far low and far high end. I think if you can just soften that a little bit, just bring it back under balance, like warm up the mix a little bit, right? So it doesn't feel this, and then also doesn't feel like really tinny and bright and abrasive at the top end. Just rebalance that slightly, get it back under control, and I think you'll be fine. You'll be in a decent place. You're working off of a 2-track, so you are kind of at the whim of the mix of the producer, right? There, once you have that, you didn't touch the beat at all, so then you might need to do some really strategic curves. I will not tap on my mic for you. I would never. You might want to do some strategic curves to kind of mitigate that just a little bit, right? So if there's a lot of boom and a lot of mud in this low end, because like the transients of the kick, like the sharpness of the kick is really not punching through, but you get all of this woof from like the 2 or 3, I would never. Not that this thing hasn't swung around a couple times, but I would never. When it comes to like the low end structure here, they have like an 808 and another synth bass plus a kick that's all, feeling very molded into one block of like low mid energy. So if you want to clean that up just a tad, just go to like, 150 to 250, 150 to 300 hertz, drop it down just slightly, give it like a dB and a half, 2 dB of a dip right there, just to control some of that low end mud and give you a little bit more headroom to push this mix a little bit louder without having to do anything crazy on the master chain. Because I would prefer you to keep that as simple as possible, especially since you're doing everything yourself. Keep that as clean and clear as possible. Just focus on loudness with the limiter at the end. Try not to do anything too crazy. Now let's listen for vocal structure. Because it is a bit of a muddy production structure, and I do want to make sure that you mitigate that as much as you can while working off of a 2-track. Just because that's gonna be challenging. Let's go a little bit further out here. Stephen, welcome in. I'm too cynical. She like the way that I move, the way that I dance. That shit's a life ain't afraid. And you don't need to do. Sorry, I backed up. Another comment here. Would Sonic Softly be viable, or do I need to break up my multiband and Pro Q4? I don't think you need to do anything crazy at all. I'm not super familiar with Sonic Soften. Pro Q3 is fine. Any EQ is fine. You really don't have to do a whole lot to it. You can keep things soft. You can keep things balanced. A stock EQ would do what you need to do here. I think it's just taking some of that boom away, some of that really, really big heaviness. That way, if it does go through a Bose soundbar with a sub and there's this like artificially inflated low and high end based on the consumer gear, then it will inflate some of that for you. If you got Beats headphones, it will inflate some of that for you. But if it's already inflated in the mix, oftentimes you're gonna run into issues because your mix isn't optimized for every different consumer platform, right? And so if you can create a little bit of a flatter, in a good way, I don't mean this in a bad way, but like not from a dynamic standpoint, from an EQ standpoint, a more even, more flat response from your current mix on this production, I feel like you'll just have a better time translating this mix on different devices. Just because right now, if this goes, like if I were to take this to a car with a big, with the sub in the back, if I was going to send this into a soundbar or play this at a system at a club or whatever, it'd be a really, really inflated on kind of the extremes of the mix. So if you can hone that in just a little bit, I think you'll have a better balance already. Okay. Shipwreck, for final mastering, I try my best to mix the whole song fully, then only put a limiter to clip the sharp transients on my snares and kicks and clicks, whatever I put there, then a multi-band compressor only for the low end to clean it up so it's stable. 100%. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of so they're not mutually exclusive. So Zachary said better to have it flatten than make it dynamic, right? They're not mutually so dynamics, a lot of your dynamic range is going to come from your compression and your limiting. The flat response that I'm talking about is EQ, right? So that's more from the standpoint of there being some mud in the low end that can be controlled and some harshness in the high end that can be controlled as well. I would do that with EQ. As far as dynamics, I want it to be highly dynamic, controlled, maybe, like on your master, especially if that's what we're talking about, like maybe, a dB to 2 dB of controlled compression, like smooth controlled compression on the master to just, like Shipwreck was talking about, to keep things under control, glue everything together, put it under an umbrella. But as far as dynamic range in the song, you want it to be really, really dynamic. You want it to have some peaks and valleys that keep you really engaged with the song structure. So I wouldn't say they're mutually engineering. The pool of engineering is astounding. I started in BandLab 2 years ago. Now here we are. You're crushing it, man. You're crushing it. And I will say that like going from BandLab to like working in a DAW is a big jump. Like it's not the most seamless experience because there's a lot of routing limitations in BandLab. There's a lot of great things you can do in BandLab, honestly, but there are a lot of routing limitations in BandLab that you're not able to execute on that you can in a normal DAW. And so when you go into a normal DAW, there's just like so much more to look at, so much more to do that it can be a little bit overwhelming to learn. So I'm proud of you for making that leap and making that jump, and I think you're doing a great job, man. Let's push a little bit further into the song here. I'll be honest with you. I personally would not push the high end of your vocal anymore. I really would not. It's already pretty airy. It's already pretty forward as far as like where it is. I think what you're running into once again is, for one, a lot of high end in the beat. So controlling that is going to allow your vocal to operate in that space with a little bit more clarity. Right now, you're feeling like you need to like brighten that vocal to get it like sharper and cut through a little bit more. Also because you're limited in your ability to mix on the gaming headphones, like stuff like that, right? So right now you're trying to kind of overcome that, but in an actual mix, actually referencing it, I don't think you need that at all. I would keep your high end on your vocal. Let me hear a little bit further. I think I would keep it right where it's at. I really, really wouldn't touch it. It's already like a pretty bright vocal. Like it cuts through nicely. Like I said, there's some harshness in the beat. There's some mud in the beat. That's limiting your vocal from feeling a little bit more forward. But if you fix that, then your vocal's already going to feel quite a bit more on top of the production. If that's what you're looking for. But I wouldn't brighten it past where it is. Got hairs on here. I wouldn't push it past where it is, just because I feel like you're going to get back into the same place as a production where you have this like bright, brittle, harsh vocal that will immediately feel more amateur. You know, it'll immediately feel like there's like curves to it that are more extreme than would be typically made. Your vocal's already pretty forward. I wouldn't touch that part of it too much. The actual processing on your lead vocal, I think, is pretty good too. But there's some things in the backgrounds that I want to dig into a little bit that are pretty distracting from the lead vocal structure, and that's definitely something I want to dig into for just a second. And let's take that. She won't touch, she won't guidance. I want peace in a moment of silence. Told her I'm working, building. Just trying to make something solid. And Mateo just got yours as well. Ryan, thank you so much for hopping in. Mateo, let me know where you're at in the chat so I can make sure I get the proper name up on the board. Thank you so much for sending that in. I appreciate that so much. Okay, let me get into this real quick. I try with the delivery to push my voice down, but relaxing throat and engaging stomach. Yeah. Your vocal performance to me feels like it's got a little like Bad Bunny-ish texture to it, right? Which I do think is probably more typical of like a low larynx, like diaphragmatic supported vocal. So that makes sense to me that you're kind of practicing with that. That makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I feel like you're in a pretty good place as far as like your performance goes. Yeah. No music is for everyone. I think if you're trying to make music for everyone, you'll just fail. I think you should try to make music that you love. And if you make music that you love, other people that also love that kind of music will find you. And if they don't, then the wrong people will be listening to it and they won't like it anyways. And then you'll get misled on what you should do, because the wrong people are listening to your music in the first place. Like if you love classic country and that's your favorite genre in the world, and you hear this, you're like, well, this is not music I like. And then they give you tips on how to change it. And you're like, well, this is not what I do at all. And vice versa. Right. So I wouldn't even worry about it not being for everyone. I really feel like you should make music that is authentic, that you genuinely love and enjoy. And if it happens to have a gravitational pull to it and it attracts listeners, then fantastic. You can always work on the quality. You can always work on improving, your methods to gaining exposure and stuff like that. I appreciate you. You technically can. You technically can. On YouTube, on YouTube and Twitch, all of the VODs are saved. So if y'all ever want to clip stuff, go for it. But yeah, the video is saved to Twitch and YouTube. Twitch for 2 weeks, and on YouTube it's saved indefinitely. So as soon as the live's over, y'all can jump to the YouTube stream and you can screen record and clip anything you want. If you feel so up to it, I'd be honored. That's literally never happened. So you might be the first, outside of someone like recording their like consultation on TikTok or something like that. Mr. Tickles, I just came out with a new song, Home Alive by Mr. Tickles. Thank you so much for hopping in. I appreciate it so much. Yeah, if y'all want to submit, if you're on TikTok, go to my profile, click on the link, and just follow the steps there. I appreciate you hopping in so much. All right, let's get into this last little section here. Last little thing that I'm listening for here. Yes, that auto pan right there. Okay, so the last thing that I think would be beneficial for you would be to pull back on some of you have basically one huge auto pan delay on your vocal. It's a ping pong delay in the background there. The effect of it I like, right? It makes the vocal feel wide and it makes, there's a lot of ambiance to it, which I love. But it's really forward. So what happens? You get into this main pocket of the song here.
souls, one diamond ring. I'm too cynical. She like the way that I move, the way that I dance. That
like
shit's
right
so
in here.
light, too cynical. She like the way that I move, the way that I dance. That shit's so light, the rain.
My brain is kind of it's like it's kind of being pulled around to each one of those little delay hits on the outside, right? I would pull that way back, and I would also probably just automate it a little bit. If you want to lean into the automation side, I think this is one of the next steps for you to polishing up what you're doing and making it feel a little bit more professional. Is bringing that vocal. Now you might have it sidechained or something like that. I have a ducker. Implement it. Should I? I would. The ducking always feels a little pumpy to me. I don't. Sometimes, you know, I don't, there's not a lot of rules to when and where you do this. It just depends on if it serves the song. Just depends on if it sounds good. It sounds good, right? So in this case, like your vocal is so fast. There's not a lot of breath, right? So there's not a lot of like moments where you just like are singing for a long time and then you stop and then you go. There's a couple little breaks, but then your vocal kind of keeps going. So what's happening is your side chain to that delay and reverb is kind of doing this. It's kind of doing this. It's like it's jumping back and forth like crazy. You know what I mean? It's going crazy. And because you hear it like it's like you release your vocal for a second, it jumps forward and then it gets pulled back again. So you're hearing this like pumping in your delay. You're hearing this like pumping in your reverb and stuff like that, which is happening on the sidechain. It's happening from the compression. What I personally think would sound better is for you to automate it back and just don't touch it at all. So and you're just automating, like anytime there's a little bit of a break in the vocal, you just push it forward by like 3 dB and then you let off the gas and you push it forward by 3 dB and let off the gas. But it's not trying to like jump into the mix between every like word that you have. Like you do one word, you hold for a second, and it's jumping back. And because I'm just like constantly hearing this auto pan jump in and out of the mix pretty loud. So first and foremost, I'd probably pull back on it. I would just turn it down by a couple dB. But then in your automation, you can have like a line at the end, like here, like you kind of do. Like there, perfect. Like that's that's perfect. So it's like an ending line. You have a little bit more space, automate it up, and then automate the feedback so that it hits left and right and it lasts for a while the bass cuts back in, stuff like that, right? I think it just gives you a little bit more control over your sound. And right now it's just really muddy in the middle when all of this stuff is going on, like right in this little section here. Like you can survive off like that lead vocal in a stack. You know, you don't really need a lot of delay in here. That delay is there to like fill space. You know what I mean? Like the delay really only has a benefit, and the huge reverbs only really have a benefit if they're filling space, they're filling kind of ambiance out in the mix. Your vocals, you're gunning for it really, really quickly, right? You have a lot of vocal structure here, so you really don't need to like fill in a lot, right? So I would back way off of that. I would lower your feedback by 50%, like get them a little bit closer so that they're not lasting for 6 seconds, but it just hits for like 2 seconds and then it dies. Shorten your tails a little bit. Bring them back in the mix and then just automate it at the end of your lines to fill in the gap, right? And so and it goes back and forth for a second while the beat hits, and then you can always bring it back in a little bit later, right? And then another way you can do this with a little bit more clarity is only have that delay on a vocal that you do as an in and out or as like an accent vocal. So if you have like if you have you have like a stack of vocals that's like accenting sometimes, then you can just automate a reverb on those or just place the reverb or a delay tail on those. So you just have and then it delays just off that one word, as opposed to delaying every word that you're saying. It's trying to delay it. It's trying to create that ping pong effect instead of just having like another layer of vocals that is only doing like one word and it's ping ponging that. And then another word and it ping pongs that. Right now it's delaying everything constantly, right? So there's a couple little options for you that you can kind of do to facilitate a little bit like cleaner of a vocal mix there. But I wanted to bring that up too, just because the vocal production does feel very busy. I start to hear everything kind of moving back and forth. Got you. No, I mean, hey, it happens, dude. It happens to literally everyone. And sometimes it works, right? Like sometimes like this is the thing with engineering. The hardest option is not always the best option. You know what I mean? Like sometimes like the best option is just something that happens by accident, right? So I don't want you to think that you have to like put in a ton of effort for it to be the right choice. It just matters that it is the right choice. Sometimes that's 50 vocal comps and spending 3 days on Melodyne. Sometimes that is the answer. Sometimes it was like, dude, I did it and take it, felt good. Let me balance it and structure it, right? Like, so it doesn't really matter to me how like fast or lazy or hardworking or structured it was. Like, it really just matters that it serves the song in this case. I think it's a little bit distracting, and you can hone that and you can mold it to make it something that's really engaging. Sure, with that, sometimes simple is better. 100%. 100%. This is where it's just, it depends on the song. It depends on your skill set, right? Like, I will say this. Let me say this with let me say this. The more skilled you are, the better sounding your accidents are, and the better sounding your mistakes are, right? So I would highly encourage every producer, every artist, every musician, every engineer to focus all of your energy on improving at your craft, improving your skill sets and your value to the industry, because the better you are at what you do, the better sounding your accidents will be, right? So if you're very amateur in your process and you're very new to your process, you might make like a mistake and you're like, well, yeah, this is unusable, right? This is like, I can't even look in the direction of this, right? Or you might make like a happy accident and you're like, oh my God, that actually sounded pretty good. And you have no clue how to replicate it, right? Like, you're like, oh, I accidentally like played this note and did this bend thing there. And then I'm like, oh, I actually have no clue how to do that again. And so then you're still stuck, right? The better you get at your craft, if you become amazing at what you do, whatever that is, beat making, vocal structure, rapping, poetry, writing, being a musician in as a vocalist, as a writer, whatever it may be, right? Engineering, it could be anything. The better you get at that, the easier it is to take anything that you do and make it usable, right? So you have a little bit of a vocal misstep and it sounds somehow really, really good. You're like, oh yeah, that fry that I did when I did that vocal comp is actually really cool. Let me do a couple other takes with a little bit more breath and a little bit more vocal fry, now that I know that it actually offers more emotion. But if you don't even know how to control that, then you're stuck, right? So I will say, I just wanted to make that point really quick too, that the better you get at your craft, the laziness doesn't feel like laziness sometimes. Sometimes like the simplest answer is you just like sit down, you kind of play something easy, and it makes the song feel easy. It makes it feel easy to listen to. It doesn't always have to be really surgical and really, really structured. I just wanted to say that really quick. Y'all show some love. Show some love to Zachary. Let's keep the music moving. We got, let's see who we got. We got Derek Bennet in here. We got Mateo in here as well. And then I was looking for Mateo early. So if you're in here, Mateo, let me know where you're at so I can make sure I get the right name up on the board. I appreciate you sending in your song so much. I'm not going to be taking a whole lot of submissions today, so I do want to make sure that I get, okay, Bob Ross, yeah, happy accidents. Dun, 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 dun. That's you. Okay, I just want to make sure I connect the names. Let me get you on the list really quick. Let me throw up the line. And let me clear this over here. Shout out to Zachary though. Zachary, I appreciate you so much. You're amazing. You're talented. And I'm excited for you to build out the structure a little bit more, fine tune some of those aspects of the mix. Let's see. We got Zachary, and let me get, what name? No, you're totally good, Shipwreck. You're totally good. What name would you like up on the board? Do you want Shipwreck? Carlo, welcome in. I appreciate you being here. Y'all keep tapping the screen. Keep sharing out the live. Of course. I know I do get confused because people will come like from TikTok, from YouTube, from Twitch, and they'll bounce around platforms. So sometimes I like know the artist on TikTok. I don't know their name on like YouTube and it's a different name from the Cash App, which is a different name from the artist name they put in the title of the email or whatever, right? So I just always want to make sure that like I know who I'm talking to. All right, we got Shipwreck up there. Thank you so much for sending this in. All right, let's we've got Don't Move. I already got it. Don't Move is the name of the song. I've already got it pulled up. We've got Derek Bennet in the building. I might have time for like maybe one more submission past Shipwreck. So we'll see. So if anyone does want to submit, that would be there. I'm the same, everything else but payment. I got you. No worries at all. Much love, Zach. I appreciate you so much. So much. Yeah, 100. Yeah, dude, 100%. Complex doesn't mean good and simple doesn't mean good. Like there's people that are like, dude, I went into the booth and I did it all in one take, just like Jay-Z. And I'm like, for one, you're not Jay-Z. I was like, I did it all in one take. And I'm like, well, based on what I'm hearing, I wish you would have done 10 more takes. And then other people were like, dude, I did, 150 vocal comps. I spent 3 days on the second verse. and I listen to it and I'm like, it kind of sounds like it. It sounds like overdone. It sounds overproduced. It sounds like too surgical. You can't hear any breath. It sounds robotic. You've lost the emotion in your performance, right? So it really just comes down to like what serves the song. There's no bragging rights to your creativity, right? So it's not like the faster you do something, the better it is, or the longer I just spent 7 years on this track. And I'm like, yeah, you probably overthought it a little bit. Maybe you could have done it in 2, like there's no rules to it, right? And so I want people to like, just like feel the freedom to just produce and mix and perform and create in a way that's like free and authentic, and not like have it be beholden to like their perspective on how someone else did it. You know what I mean? There really is just no comparison. You're your own person. You're your own artistry and creativity. So I just want you to live with that and do it how it makes sense for you. All right, Derek Bennet. This is called Don't Move. I wrote and produced. Emmy on the vocal. This is a rough mix. Let's get into it, man. I'm excited. Shout out to Derek Bennet for sending this in. Let's dive in. A quick reminder, since we're in between songs, if you want to submit and you're on TikTok, go to my profile, click on the link. You'll see the tab right there. If you are on Twitch, hit !submit. If you are on YouTube, just go to my description and click the link from there. All right, let's get it.
I feel your fingers moving slow. I feel your hand up on my back. Every word you breathe against my neck feels like a heart attack. Don't stop now, I'm shaking. After everything that we have done, I can feel the damage.
Is this the vocal that will be mixed? Not as much anymore. We've just been too busy. Shipwreck. EC, welcome in. Got you. What's up?
Don't go, don't go.
Oh, 100%. She's the best. The best, the best, the best.
Your breath is warm against my skin.
We'll do some combo live soon. We'll do some combo live soon. We used to do it a lot.
Every
We just got too busy.
give cuts deep. There's nowhere else to go. I feel the pull between us. I can't resist. I can't resist. I'm on the edge. I'm on the edge. Lean me, come close. Don't give me room to think.
Do you have some distortion on Emmy's vocal here? Got you.
Don't go, don't go. Oh, I need you. Don't move, don't move, don't move. Oh, I need you. Don't move, don't move, don't move. Oh, I
Nice. Y'all show some love. That is Don't Move by Derek Bennet. Let's run it straight from the top. Let's get into this consultation of anything specifically. I know this is a rough mix. We're going to look at it from that perspective. Is there anything specific you want me to lean into? Let me know. I know it's typically for you, we're looking at production structure, balancing things before we get to the mix. So I'll look at it from that perspective regardless. If there's anything specific, production is always perfect. Perfect. I'm kind of curious. Drama Doll, welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. I'm kind of curious. I will say that like 80%, just because most of what I do is production and music work, right? Is like session stuff, right? So like the majority of my job, I mean, probably 70% of my job is production and session work, right? And then another 30 to 40% is mixing and mastering, right? So I have a split between a lot of different things that I do. But most of the reason why people end up coming to this live stream is, yes, for mixed stuff. Like if it's a final song, it's for mixed stuff. But I also feel like it's oftentimes just production. Like I'm kind of curious, like if I started doing like a production only live, where of course, like we can talk about some mix stuff. We usually do, like, I'll tell you some things to look out for in the mix or whatever, but I feel like we tend to get, because I feel like I'm really strong in the production space and can pick up on the music stuff a lot, instrumental stuff a lot, that I feel like we end up getting a lot of producers, which I love, which I'm really happy. So I'm kind of curious if we should like compartmentalize a little bit, do like a production, like a producer's live, where we're doing like producer specific consultations, where we strictly focus on production elements, sound design choices, like positioning and balancing for the production, stuff like that. I'm curious if that would be like more consistent. Motor, thank you so much for hopping in. Yeah, Derek, you're on it. I appreciate it so much. Yeah, these are long form consultations. Okay, cool. I mean, I just feel like a lot of people come in, and of course, a lot of people come in for mixing, but because it's what I do. But I also feel like the vast majority of people are like, what does this production need? Because there's a lot of people that are trying to self-produce. And so that'd be interesting. Anyways, let's run it from the top. This is Don't Move. So y'all let me know. Maybe I'll create a post or something like after the live, or maybe tomorrow or something, where I ask, and I'll try to get some comments on like, what would y'all rather see? Would you rather see more of like this thing, or would you rather see more like production centric lives, where the whole live is talking about your productions, it's talking about me as a producer, it's talking like showing you production process, how I start and fill out and build, and mix out production, stuff like that. If that would be interesting, then maybe I'll post so y'all can comment on that. Journey, welcome in. Thanks for hopping in. All right, from the top, Don't Move, Derek Bennet. Let's run it.
I feel your fingers moving slow. I feel your hand up on my back. Every word you breathe against my neck feels like a heart attack. Don't stop now, I'm shaking after everything that we have done.
So the reason why I asked about the distortion was because, so I can hear like the filtering of like some like, overdrive on the vocal there, which actually I don't mind. Like in the final mix, that'll have its place, right? But what I'm kind of listening for here is there's little moments of clipping in there, and I'm curious if that is happening on her actual vocal. I'm curious if that's DVO, welcome in. Appreciate you hopping in. I'm curious if that's happening on her effect or something. I can't remember. Yeah, just double check. So the only reason I bring it up is a double check that her original vocal is not clipping, because there's not going to be any way to fix it instead of just you're going to have to overdrive her entire vocal to make it super distorted to disguise it. You have to kind of make it fuzzy to disguise some of the clipping, because you can hear the distortion. I hear like the filtering that's going on right there. Yeah, like a telephone effect a little bit. It's like filtered down a little bit. You get this like darker kind of underwater effect, which I can appreciate. But then I'm hearing these little peaks, these little clips in there every once in a while. Let me hear it.
Every word you breathe against
once her vocal goes louder.
Feels like a heart attack. Don't stop now.
On the don't stop now, you hear that? You hear the breakup there on now.
I'm shaking after it.
And the after the on the on the after, you hear a little clip right there. So double check there.
I'm shaking after every.
You hear that breakup right there. The right there just breaks it up completely. I know what it is. Instead of using compression, I raised the dB on those vocals instead of using compression or anything too. Yeah, watch her input though. So watch the input first and like solo just her vocal. If you hear that breakup on just her vocal, like when there's no effect, no compression, no EQ, no distortion or saturation or anything like that. If on her original vocal, you're hearing that fuzz and that breakup at the top, only when she gets out. This is why I thought it might just be clipping on her end, like her going into the preamp is clipping, is because it's just when she's getting out. Like usually if I'm like distorting an entire vocal, it's usually pretty consistent on the signal. Pretty sure her vocals are clean. Yeah, just double check. I just want you to double check just in case, because then you can mitigate that by her just like re-recording those parts or something. Because if it's not, and there's just like 2 or 3 words in the mix that are clipping, it's going to sound more amateur, especially as you start to kind of boost everything with compression and EQ and stuff in the mix and stuff like that. It's definitely something. Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Does the mic have a built-in limiter ceiling? Does theirs or does mine? I doubt it. None of them. Most don't.
Everything that we have done, I can feel the damage that's just
The damage. You hear a little bit of breakup there.
begun.
I mean, there's gonna be like a natural SPL ceiling, 124 dB or something like that, but that's a crazy amount of energy, right? So 124 dB is like ear shattering, right? Oh my, yeah, no, none of them will. No mic is there is a natural ceiling to the amount of energy that the diaphragm of the mic can take and convert it into a digital signal. But it's very, very high. I mean, for an average mic, it's probably 119 dB. For a great mic, like one of the, a really, really high end, not even really high end, but like a really good mic for high SPL stuff, like a C414, like a AKG C414, that can handle like 128 dB. Or even like, I think up to 140 dB. It's a crazy amount that just the physical characteristics in like capsule design and diaphragm of the microphone can actually handle. So there's mics that can handle a lot, but there's no natural digital limiter or anything like that in any of these microphones. They're fully analog, fully analog. Now there are some like, I don't know, there's some, Lewitt has like their Ray mic. It's like a 440 Ray or something like that has a proximity control effect where it's like if I back off the mic, it makes it a little bit louder. If I get closer, it'll back off. So you reduce the level of proximity effect that happens when you get a little bit closer and stuff like that. That exists, but it's not an inherent limiter. So if you scream into it, it's gonna sound bad. You just have to watch your input and your gain staging going into the preamp of the interface or the outboard gear that you have, and make sure that you're checking through your signal chain that it's clean and clear, nothing's clipping. But yeah, nothing's going to be baked into the mic. Your large diaphragm condenser, or your like whether you're using like this is a large diaphragm condenser or something like this. This is a dynamic microphone. These are fully analog, fully analog. All right, move this over here. Get this out of the way. All right, let's go a little bit further. I actually want to hear this. I was focusing on the vocal for a second. I want to hear some production stuff.
My neck,
Of course.
it's like a heart attack. Don't stop now, I'm shaking. After everything that we have done, I can feel the damage that's just begun. Lean in, come close. Don't give me room to think at all.
Hearing some different textures in her vocal here this time around, a little more fry, especially early on. We were talking about vocal fry earlier. A little bit more vocal fry, more kind of like whisper tracks in there, kind of more speaking, stuff like that. I'm liking hearing the different dynamics of her vocal here. It's cool.
I'm caught between wanting more and letting go. Don't move, just stay, let me feel you. Lady, come close, oh, I need you.
Okay, really quick on the production side, as you know, some of this is just personal choices, so it's just what my ear picks up. I like the accent being on your 4th snare. So you have like a 2/4, and then you have your reverse snare, which gives you a bit more of an accent, right? So when you hear when you hear that reverse snare going into the full snare, that gives you a bit of an accent point, like a dynamic point in the production for the percussion. And my brain just feels like I want it to be on like the last one because it leads into the next measures. So personally speaking, I would do the boom, ga, boom, ga, boom, ga, boom, shka. And it gives you like a nice ending line to those drums that it feels a little bit more punchy to me. Personal preference, I guess, a bit, but like to me, that makes a little bit more sense than just having it on the 3, because right now it's on the 3 And I feel like it kind of introduces itself in a space where the energy doesn't really transition or build at all, but that will happen more so at the end of each of those measures, like, or the end of each of those 4 measures, your transitions in and out of that hook, stuff like that. Where you having the reverse and the snare gives you a bit more of an accent that I feel like is maybe a little bit more beneficial to the energy of the song. Just an idea though. Not like necessary. It's not like it's like bad on the 3. I just think it might feel a little bit punchier on the 4. Or doing it every other, like doing it on the 2 and the 4. So boom, ka, boom, shka, boom, ka, boom, boom, shka. Like that gives you like a 2 and a 4. So like every other one on the 2nd and on the 4th, you get a little shift in energy and a little bit of an accent. Just options.
Don't go, oh, I need you. Your breath is warm against my skin. You won't let me go. Every glance you give cuts deep. There's nowhere else to go.
I hear there's some stuff I'm just excited to hear later on in the mix. You have this nice little pulsing synth bass. It's got a little resonance to it in the background. Love that. I wouldn't mind if that was like forward just an inch as you get into the mix. Just make sure that's like that exists there because it does help drive it. And then that allows you to trade places with some of the glue. So it's not too like smooth and gluey. You can pull back on some strings there, push that bass forward just on the verses, right? You can open up some of the smoothness and your ambiance on the hook a little bit, but I think some contrast where like the hook feels very open and very vibrant and you get, it feels a little bit smoother. And then on the verses, it's a little tighter. You go to a closed hat with the snare. It's really snappy. You get a sharp little punchy bass right down the middle. Little things like that, right? Just like make sure that going into the mix and in the production structure and your references and stuff that you like trade energy a little bit. So it's not so smooth and clear with the strings the whole way through. Michaela, welcome in.
Your breath is warm against my skin.
Yeah, because right here, I feel like what to me is not allowing it to feel closer. It's not allowing it to feel like more intimate right here is the fact that there's constantly there's like this constant drone of like low mids from like your cello and your string structure that's lower. So it's constantly like full as opposed to like cutting that way back and reducing that energy dramatically and allowing the synth bass to do a lot of the heavy lifting there. Like you could largely bring it down to like vocal synth bass that you have another little synth pad in there too, like synth bass, the synth right over the top of it, drums and vocal, and you'd be like fine. Acoustic guitar maybe too, and I think you'd be fine. Shantia, welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome back to the live. That alone would be like enough for the verse. You don't need a lot else. It's like we always talk about of like finding your non-negotiables. Like what does the verse have to have for it to feel like the verse you want it to be, and then slowly build in everything outside of that, right? So if that's like acoustic guitar, drums, vocals, and that bass, make sure those are clean, clear, prominent, super punchy. And then if you still want some glue, just barely bake it in there. Like just barely like tuck it in the back. Okay, I'll give you a quick, I'm not trying to showcase anything, but let me give you just a quick example. Welcome back, Shanti. I hope you're doing amazing. Just to kind of show you real quick, it's similar kind of a structure. So right here, so you're over here on TikTok. Yeah. So I want to make sure that you can see this. Right here, I have this pad. I have this, it's actually the Juno, but there's Juno right here in the middle. All it's doing is literally this. You hear how quiet that is? It's literally like, I'll pull up the meter too. Look what it is, barely doing anything. It exists way in the background, but in the context of the record, this is where it's at, right? It's a really like tight, punchy production. It's got like a lot of like energy. So what I decided is my non-negotiables are like kick, bass, and this DX7 bass line in there as well. Like those have to be forward and a vocal. Once the vocal comes in, those are non-negotiable. Those need to be punchy, they need to be sharp, and they need to be like loud and at the forefront of the mix. Everything else is secondary to that. So I'm taking a couple other elements in here and just like barely adding them in, right? One being this synth in the background that's just glue. It's just there to be glue. A nice little like slim synth right there in the background. That's the Juno. And then this guitar layer, right? If they were super, super prominent, If it was super prominent, then it would take over what the vocal's doing, but I have it there just as like a secondary element here. So everything mixed in, you just get like the accent of that guitar in the synth. It's like barely tucked in. So that's what I want you to do with this verse here is find your non-negotiables. Find your non-negotiables. So the acoustic guitar seems important to me. Obviously the vocal seems important. The bass and the drums, those to me are really important 4 or 5 elements right there that have to be there. They make the verse what the verse is. Everything outside of that, the low string, some of the higher little melodic things that are happening, they're important and they should be there. They do sound good and they should be there, but they're not as vital as the other elements. So you can pull them back. You can chain them in a way that's a little bit more subtle and a little bit more nuanced, so that they're not all taking over the mix, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes some sense. That's what I would look for on this verse, because I like what the sound of what I'm hearing, but it's like the wrong thing's loud and the wrong thing is being glue, right? So right now it's like the strings are pretty prominent and boomy, and that synth bass that's pulsing in the background is kind of like the glue you barely hear. I feel like that needs to change pretty dramatically the other way and have the snappy drums with a pulsing synth bass in the background or like right underneath it that's a little bit more prominent, and then you barely hear the glue. You barely hear the glue of the string. It's like pretty transparent. It's like you barely even know that it's there. And it's just like tying the whole track together, and that's it. It's not doing a whole lot of other things there. I have so much trouble mixing strings in my demos. They're always too loud. And here's the thing. I can relate to that in some senses, and I feel like I'm just like lucky to be. And there's a lot of other people that are like this too, but I feel like I'm just kind of blessed to be a producer and a musician that's like played music my whole life that then got trained in audio engineering. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's kind of a lucky thing where I typically would be in the same boat as you, where I like all of the things that I'm making. So I want to hear them all loud, but that doesn't benefit the mix, right? You know what I mean? So it's like, I can be in kind of the same boat. Like, well, I like these strings. I want them to be loud. I want to hear them. I want to feel them when they come in. Like this bass is amazing. I want to feel like these drums are awesome. I need them to be loud too. And you're kind of in a space where it's like, I like all of the things that I'm creating and I want them all to be forward. When on the engineering side, obviously that's going to be really muddy. They're not all going to be cohesive and collaborative. They're not all going to work together very well. And so it can be a struggle. It can be a struggle to make music yourself and be balancing demos yourself, where you're starting to create demo mixes where you don't actually necessarily know what needs to be forward or back. You're just kind of putting it all there. You're just putting it all there in the structure of the production and not necessarily like balancing it as you go. So that's why I always come back to what are your non-negotiables? What are your non-negotiables? Feel those strings. Good to see you, Joseph. Just blast them on high levels, put a limiter on the master, call it. Hey, that's engineering right there. That is engineering at the top. Nice last year. I hope you're doing amazing as well, man. And I saw your message over on Instagram. I saw it right before I got onto the live stream, so I'll respond to that as soon as we get off. I do send you music here in the chat. Is it Velco? Am I saying that correctly? Thank you so much for hopping in. Sorry, I'm on another computer way over here. I appreciate you hopping in so much. If you would like to submit, go to my profile, click on the link, and you'll see the tab right there. Just a few down. Sorry, I can't see the names here. Patrick, welcome in. Patrick, it's so good to see you. I wish I had new music to share, but I come with support instead. I will take the support any day. I appreciate it so much, Patrick. It's good to see you in here. Shout out to the family hopping in here today as well. It's so good to see y'all. All right, let me move a little farther. Yeah, okay, that's what I was saying is this is why I always come back to what are your non-negotiables. So if you find that you're just making everything loud and you're not balancing things, then choose 4. Better yet, choose 3, but choose 4, right? Okay. If you're creating your own demos and your demos have vocals, choose 4 things. Okay. So, and if you limit yourself to 4, you can always build past that. You can always do same night slasher, same. Today has been one of those. It's been a crazy day. Been all over the place, and so it's difficult to like focus and just like do the thing that's in front of me to do sometimes. So I've been horrible getting back to messages and stuff too. We're doing pretty good, Patrick. We're doing all right. We're hanging in there. Life is life, but that's all right. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just there's always a lot going on. Find your non-negotiables, right? So in your case, let's say drums, bass, vocals, and acoustic. Those need to be balanced. Focus only on those 4 things. You can't focus on anything else. That's it. Pull everything else down to 0 and bring it in till it does what you want it to do, right? So I'm assuming the reason why you wanted like low strings and pads was to kind of glue everything together and make it feel full, right? That makes sense that that'd be the reason why you'd have something like that in there. So then you go from, instead of going from loud when you inputted it as a production, go from 0 and push it forward until it starts to do what you're wanting it to do, but it's not overtaking the mix, right? You want a little like, a little like shimmery synth over the top of everything. Instead of starting with that loud, because that's how you produced it and that's how you wrote it in and how you inputted the MIDI so you could hear it and it was loud, bring it all the way down to 0 and then just push it up until it's doing what you want it to do, but it's not overtaking the mix, right? And if you just do that with every element that's in the structure of your mix, you end up, even in your demos, like your demos can sound like phenomenal mixes. Like when I finish out just like producing a song, like I'm in the middle of just like producing this. I'm nowhere near finishing like the production on this. I haven't done anything. It already like sounds like pretty good, like a pretty mixed production. You know what I mean? And I'm still like editing things and moving things in. I haven't even labeled any of these tracks on the left. And so I think the better you get at like your non-negotiables and what you have to have in the structure of your mix and building around it, as soon as I add in a production element, like as soon as like, oh, let me add another synth over here on the right side, I'll add it in there and then I'll immediately bring it down to like nothing and put it where it needs to be. And as I'm mixing the song, it already feels mixed. Like as I'm balancing the production, it already feels mixed. So hopefully that's a bit helpful to you. Oh, wrong song. This song. There it is.
Let me go. Every glance you give cuts deep. There's nowhere else to go. I feel the pull between us. I can't.
Because I would love to hear boom, 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 boom. I would love to hear that energy there, and it's so far in the background. Again, everything then feels very smooth and very wafty, and I want it to feel a little bit sharper, a little puncher, and that bass is there, and the bass does that.
Resist, I can't resist. I'm on the edge, I'm on the edge. Leave me, come close. Don't give me room to think. I'm caught between wanting more and letting go. Don't move, just stay, let me.
I think probably one of the last things I would say is I would find a way here. You have this transition here.
Every glance you give,
Louis, welcome in.
where else to go.
You have the build up here, which is really nice.
I'm caught between wanting more and letting go. Don't move, just stay.
Stack of vocals really, really helps, but I would find a way in the production. I'm not going to touch the vocals too much because those just need to be mixed. But with the production structure here too, I would find a way to make this transition and the energy between these two moments a little bit more dynamic. It does very much so kind of free flow straight into it. The vocal stack helps. It does make it feel wider and bigger. But from the production side, but also because you hear that big string there the whole time, and then a higher layer of strings the whole time, and then that big stack of strings transition straight over to the hook, right? And it's kind of always that block of energy. And then the vocal helps, right? But underneath that, really the only like change in sound or energy or dynamic is like you switch from toms to an open hi-hat. But the block of energy that sits above that percussion and the bass that sits below it is very, very consistent from that pre-hook into your hook. So I would find some way to shift the energy there just a little bit in your sound design. Hear it again.
Leave me, come close. Don't give me room to think at all.
Like maybe on the pre-hook, just as one example, maybe on the pre-hook, take out anything that's smooth and go straight to pizzicato, spizzicato, pulsing synths, right? And everything's like sharp and punchy and transient, and it feels like really energetic. Everything's got this really, really tight pocket to it, and then you can open it up to smooth and big and wide and stacked after that. Just as an example, right? Like if everything is loud and smooth, then that's the whole song. And then the whole song kind of just feels loud and smooth because there's always those strings there. There's always these high pads. The only thing that changes in the structure is the tom moves to sonically, like as a consumer, like The only thing that you really like perceive changing is the toms turn to a hi-hat and the hi-hats turn back into a tom. Like that changes a little bit. And the vocal goes from like a solo to a stack and a solo to a stack. But like those are like the only two things that change. That sonically, everything else is very consistent. So I would focus on shifting that energy a little bit more in the way that you program what's there, as well as what is actually there and how it's mixed and how it's balanced, because that will affect the mix, right? How you place things in this demo will in turn, translate to what happens in the mix, since you want it to be as consistent to the mix as possible. All right, let me move to the last section here really, really quick, and then we'll move on to Shipwreck. So like same thing here. So you shift the energy right here. Don't move, don't move, don't move. Moving to this section right here, the drums move back to the toms, go back to some of the stacked strings, still have the energy building with some of the background elements, but have the spizzicatos and the stutters and stuff from the synths back in this section here. Open nice and wide, and then like make it right now. Everything's do 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 do, and the other elements are they're really smooth. Create some sharpness there. Create some like staccatos right there that feel really, really energetic. Because again, if it all is like too legato, it's too tied together, even though it's like loud, it feels very smooth, and you don't get any of like that pulse and that energy that I feel like would be really beneficial to have in there. Y'all show some up. Hopefully all them, I know we're throwing a lot out there, but hopefully that makes some sense. That is unreleased, but that song is called Don't Move by Derek Bennet. Please show some love to Derek Bennet. Great producer, composer, just good people too. We love Derek. Derek's been around for a hot minute with this live stream. We've been doing this live stream almost 3 years at this point. And Derek has been there from, very near, like at least like within the first 6 months or so of us doing this live stream. He's amazing, amazing people. If you are ever looking for like a cinematic contemporary, like rock producer, definitely turn your attention towards Derek. I know he's trying to build that catalog as well. So I always want to make sure that you're put on as well. So y'all show some love to Derek Bennet. I appreciate you so much, man. Let's get into this last track here. All right, let me double check a few things. Just a quick reminder, if you would like to submit, we're going to get into actually really quick Shipwreck. Just hop in the chat. Just let me know that you're here. I want to make sure that I get the I want to, sorry, I can't talk. I want to make sure that you're here for your track is what I'm trying to say. If you would like to submit for a 20, dude, of course, Derek, anytime, man. If you want to submit for a 20 to 30 minute long form consultation, you want to get into the details of your music, you would like a professional second set of ears on what you're doing. If you're on TikTok, go to my profile, click on the link. If you are on Twitch, hit ! Submit. If you are on YouTube, go to my description underneath the live and you will see the details right there. The link looks like this. If you're on TikTok, you can follow these exact steps at my profile. All right. Aaron's in the building. What's up, Aaron? Dun, dun, dun. I am chasing the building. Line is right here. Line is right here. There's Shipwreck. Okay, I see you, Shipwreck. All right, Shipwreck. Let me throw it up real quick. We got SoundCloud. Manor is a name. Let me get it pulled up. Give me 2 seconds. Get the track pulled up here. There we go. All right, this is Manor by Shipwreck Paradise. Let me bring it back right there. Okay. We're getting into our last couple. Again, I don't have a whole lot of time tonight, so I've been getting on much later because of a lot of other work. But so we only have time for like maybe one other track after this, maybe one other track. So if you want to submit, you definitely can on TikTok. Go to my link and click on Track Talk Submission. If you're on Twitch, ! Submit. If you're on YouTube, you can go to my description. But let's get into it. This is Manor by Shipwreck Paradise. All right. And is this my first time hearing your music, Shipwreck Paradise? I'm so excited, so excited. And if it's not, please let me know and remind me what I've heard of yours. Alrighty, so for mine, let's go, let's go. I'm so excited. Come on. All right, alrighty. So for mine, I focused on the mixing a lot and want your opinion on it. Now the mastering I feel is a bit off to me. I feel like I squashed it a bit heavy, but I'm not sure if I did. Okay, we can easily talk about that. When I played it in my car, the sub hits hard and also the high end is crispy, but the high end goes quiet when the sub hits. That's a compression issue, most likely. And when it releases, the high end goes back to its crispiness. Yep, exactly. Do you know why? Yeah, well, we can talk exactly about that. The only thing I put on the master is a limiter ceiling of negative 0.1 dB, and I feel like that. I feel like it's that I pushed it a bit too heavy. Another thing is I love to make this longer. So what kind of ideas you have that can help me extend it with some with another drop or expand the slow sections? Beautiful. I love the details. Man, do I love details. Let's get into it. This is, and so correct me if I'm wrong, because I've never heard this stuff before. I've never heard your music before. But what I'm about to hear is completely your production and mix. Am I assuming correctly? Give me the details of like the creation of the song, like the role that you play in all of the sounds that I'm hearing here. Beautiful. All right, let's get into it. Yeah, what you're hearing is a compression issue and a limiting issue on your master. We can easily address that. That's pretty easy. Latitude Studio South, thank you so much for hopping into the live stream. I appreciate you so much. I've seen, I don't know if I follow you, Latitude, but I keep seeing your studio pop up on my For You page. I'm pretty sure it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. If that's the account that I'm thinking of. Gorgeous studio. Let me know where you're located, where you're at. It looks absolutely beautiful, incredibly established. Yeah, let people know where you're at. Nashville, of course. That makes all the sense in the world. Yeah, gorgeous studio, beautiful studio. Y'all go follow Latitude Studio South. Really impressive engineers there. Really, I've seen randoms. I need to make sure. Hold on, I have my phone here. I'm on the wrong account, but I'm going to send real quick. Sorry, 2 seconds. 2 seconds. We'll get into this track. I'm going to send this account over to my other account that I'm not on right now. That way I can make sure I follow you over here. Yeah, it's a super, yeah, dude, of course. Anytime I see people that like actually know what they're doing, I always want to point people in y'all's direction, because it's just, that's what we need a lot more of, people that actually know what they're talking about. All right. I'm going to make sure I follow you on my other account once I get off of this. But yeah, everybody go follow Latitude Studio South. You'll love it. It's just a kid in a candy store. Just amazing gear, beautiful setup. Really nice studio. Was it a home? The studio that you're in? I mean, for one, I just need to go check it out. But is it based out of a home? Okay, that's the way to do it. It's the way to do it. All of the best studios that I've seen, and I say best loosely, right? Because it's just like, Abbey Roads and East West and whatever. But like a lot of my favorite studios, just vibe wise, are created out of homes. You get a living room as a live room, so on and so on. Attached to my house by outdoor breezeway. I love that. That's fantastic. If I ever find myself in Nashville, I've got a whole bunch of studios I need to go visit. I'll have to put y'all on the list. All right, let's see. Let me get back to Shipwreck here. Everything is from scratch with heavy sound design and FL Studio. Shout out to Fruity Loops. Home studio is a dream for me. It's the best. I had a studio, like it was small, but I had a public studio space when I lived in Dallas. I leased the space and I turned it into a studio, and it was great. It was small. It was tight. It was a fairly small space, but I turned it into a full production studio there. And it was nice. Like there was something to like going to work at stuff at a place that was separate. But now that I've got like my home studio set up here, and this is, I don't know, this is still a fairly small space, but I'm the only one in it. And so it's nice. I've got, you can't see it, but I have live drums over here and extra drums and a couple other sets and stuff on the other side of the room that I can still utilize as needed, some other synths and stuff on the other side. And I love being able to just wake up and walk over here and work on music and not have to worry about going anywhere. Yeah, I wish I had the other. So I mean, I have this camera set up, but I don't have anything else set up. This is like half the setup over here. I don't have any other angles on here right now because I can't get the other camera set up with the dock that I have, the USB dock that I have. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure that I sent your account because I'm on my phone. I'm on a different account to keep checking on things, but I sent it to this Torvik account, so I'm gonna make sure I follow you after the live stream as well. I appreciate what you do so much as well. Shantia, you live in a recording studio? Talk to me about that. And then Shipwreck, we gotta get into your. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate. I'm gonna make sure I follow you back as soon as I get off the live stream here. Or maybe I can do it from here. Hold on. Can I do it from here? Hell yeah, I can. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay, cool. I got too many screens here and too many computers doing all this stuff, so I think that worked. What do you mean you live in a recording studio? That's fantastic. I love that. That's like as my dream scenario. I basically do, but that's like my dream scenario. This is just a second room, another room in our home. Like it was like a living room in our home that we turned into a studio. All right, Shipwreck Paradise. Let's get into this. Everything we're about to hear from Shipwreck Paradise is their production and their mix. So let's dive into it. We already talked about a little bit about the pumping that's happening on your master, your compression and limiter issues. So we'll break that down a little bit here in a second. I can tell you kind of what's going on. It's time. Electric Owl, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. It's vibey. What's up, Branch? Chads, appreciate you hopping in. So good to see you. Thank you for the heart, me, Shanti. Appreciate you. Wide open right now. I'm getting off here in just a little bit. So let me throw it up. Let me clear a couple things really quick. Yeah, I got time for like maybe one more. Let's go, Shipwreck. Let's go. Hope you're doing well, Bishop. It's good to see you. It's been a minute. Yeah, interesting sound design. And you do have a very full mix. Like, you know, your sub is doing a lot. Like that sub bass that you have pulsing in the background is doing a lot of heavy lifting. Cassidy, welcome in. Let's go. Y'all show some love. Shipwreck Paradise. The song is called Manor. Right now, I think it's only out on SoundCloud. I'm pretty sure. So that is Manor by Shipwreck Paradise. Let's get into it. Let's run it from the top. Okay, really quick. So partially, this is not probably the only issue, but this is one of the things that's happening. It's one of the reasons why you're getting ducking on your hats and your snare when the bass is present versus when it's not. Thank you so much for the fast, Shantia. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for your generosity. It means a lot. One of the reasons why is are you bussing any? Talk to me about that really quick too. Are you bussing anything, or is it pretty much track by track and then going to your master? Is that how you have it laid out? Or are you doing any like auxes, any groups or buses in between there? Let me know. And let's run it from the top. We'll get into it. We'll pause it. Track by track. Okay, sounds good. Welcome in. Okay, so a couple things just really, really quick, right? So you're sending everything over straight into the master. So you got track by track. You're sending everything is just basically going 1, 2 out, left, right, out, straight to the master. And you know, it's there's nothing like inherently wrong with that. The thing that's going to happen is you're going to lose any ability to like control things before they hit the master, right? And glue things together and control dynamics a bit more before they get out of control going to the master. And so what you then have to do is kind of go track by track and be like, is this thing that's stealing my headroom? Is this the thing that's stealing my headroom? Is this the cause of my issues? And you're going track by track to kind of figure out what is the source of your problems going into the master. You just see the master clipping. You're like, I don't really know where to start. Might be my kick. You mute the kick and it's still going to unmute it. You go to the 808 and the 808's still doing it. And you're going kind of back and forth, and that, you know, and that makes it challenging to kind of understand what's going on. So there's a couple things. The first thing I would say, you're full of wisdom and all, what's up, knowledge, indeed. Answer. Thank you so happy to support. Sorry, I'm reading backwards on the screen here. Thank you so much, Shanti. I appreciate that a lot. I genuinely appreciate that so much. My first recommendation, Shipwreck, would be to start bussing. And the reason why is I want you to gain tiers of control over your mix. This is one of the biggest benefits to creating like groups and buses and sending things into a pocket where all of those elements exist, right? So just I'm going to keep it as simple as possible. One would maybe be like a drum bus. So all of your percussion goes to this drum bus, and then you send that bus on. I have FL Studio as well. I don't really use it, but I used to use it a lot more. But I used it for like 2 years just to get used to it. It's easy to route, right? So you can just like send it to that track and then send all of those tracks to the master, right? So you send all of your, and you can watch videos on this too. Send all of your drums to a bus, send all of your basses to a bus, send all of your synth to a bus, send all of the vocals to a bus. And then you have these pockets that you can control individually. You have your own plugins on there. You have, processing. And when you process on those buses, you affect everything in that bus, right? So if all of your percussion is going to one bus, then whatever you put on that bus affects everything, and it cleans up everything, and it processes everything, right? So it gives you layers of control over your dynamics, over your EQ, over your positioning and saturation and stuff like that, that you can give yourself a couple layers of clarity and layers of control before you hit the master. So that'd be one recommendation, is because then what you can do is like, let's say you sent all of your basses over to a bus, then you can just like mute all of your other buses and like solo that bass bus and be like, what is so muddy? And then you're only dealing with like 3 elements, right? You're dealing with a couple bass channels and you're soloing that and you're like, oh yeah, these sound crazy. And all of these different bass elements are stepping on each other's toes. Let me carve a little bit out of this one. Let me pull some energy out of this one. Let me turn down the second one. Let's oversaturate the third one a little bit so it has more crunch at the top end. And you can really just hone in on your tracks a little bit more cohesively than having 42, channels or whatever it may be, right? All 42 different channels, and you're like, I don't even know where to turn. I don't even know where to look. You can hone in a little bit and be like, man, I feel like there's some things going on in the bass, but I don't know how to control it within everything else. The other good benefit to this is, let's say you do finally balance out your bass elements, right? You have let's say you have 3 or 4 bass elements in a track like this. You balance them out. They feel really cohesive. Then you can just stick a glue compressor on there. All right. So what you're going to do, like a G bus is great for this. You can use stock plugins. It doesn't matter. Right. But you're going to add a compressor onto there, and you're only looking for, let's say, like 2 dB of control. That's really all you're looking for. I just want on my bass where things are jumping out and they're coming in and out of the mix and they're moving all over the place. I just want a layer of control. So just in case that sub bass pops out of the mix too much, there's something on that bus that's going to control it by, let's say, 2 dB, right? In this genre, you can push it a little bit heavier. I just don't want you to squash the life out of it. I still want it to be dynamic, right? But let's say 2 dB. It just controls it a little bit. Before it hits the master, there's a level of intention and level of control there. Let's say your percussion is really, really cool. Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank y'all all for the follows today. It means so much to me. I appreciate that a lot. Noki, it's good to see you as well. Really quick to Noki, thank you for the roses. I appreciate the gifts, man. Thank you so much. So it gives you some control. The other side, hold on. I want to get back into the track here really quick too, because I want to pick up on a couple things. So another example would be, you have all of your percussion going to that bus as well, and you have some like sharper elements. You have some elements that poke out of the mix, right? Like maybe you have your hats and your snare and your kick are all locked in, but every couple measures you have like a digital tom roll that you do that's a little bit louder louder and it's really powerful, but it's kind of pushing itself out of the mix and it doesn't feel like it's all glued together. Then you have a compressor on that bus that just pulls those things back under control by 2 dB, 3 dB, nothing crazy at all. I usually don't really go over 2 dB on a bus unless I'm doing something very specific and very stylistic, right? But you keep it really smooth and controlled, and then you know that your percussion's never leaping out of the mix. And this is all before those buses get sent to your master, right? And then on the master, you can have additional control there. Let me listen a little bit further. I want to focus on the things that you were talking about too. I want to get to the compression on the master. But what I would recommend, my intuition tells me that if you are having major pumping issues on your master compressor and your limiter over there, if you're finding that things are like hitting a wall, getting compressed, and then loosening back up when the bass leaves, because that's what's stealing your headroom, that you're probably feeding too hot of a signal into it. So you've lost your ability to control it, right? So everything in your mix, I would have just a couple dB quieter. Just bring, this is where the buses can help too, right? If all of your percussion goes to one fader, just bring that fader down by 3 dB. If all of your synths are going to one fader and all of your basses are going to one fader, you can just bring those couple faders down just a tad to give you some headroom going into your master so that things are, 5 dB quieter on the master and you can control it and then lift it to the top, right? With your final limiter, you can push it, but you're not like, as soon as it hits the master at -1 dB, you're already getting 12 dB of compression, or 12 dB of gain reduction. And it's just blasting everything and it's pumping like crazy and it's creating all kinds of effects that you're not looking for. Gutter, where you get that synth stand, it looks nice. Thank you so much. So I have this one. It's called, I forget the model itself. It is On Stage. On Stage is the company that makes it. I added another tier. So it's a 3-tier synth stand. They're like $240. Nothing like too crazy for stands. Stands are expensive, but good ones are at least. But it's a 3-tier stand, and then I added a 4th tier so I could fit one more synth on it and lower it down just a little bit. And I just bought the extra pieces, so I got an extra 2 sets of arms and an extra side rail right there. On Stage's website. I just like ordered from their parts supplier to get an extra arm on there so I could fit a couple more synths. And then I have another random two rack synth over here that's not full yet. But yeah, it's On Stage. Just look up, go to sweetwater.com and look up On Stage 3-tier stand, and it's like the most popular one. But yeah, I love it because you can angle them all different ways. You can pull them forward and back, and that allows me to fit a whole bunch of stuff back there, which is great. Okay. Shipwreck said, sorry, I'm looking at 2 different chats here. I think I boosted the sub and the EQ on the basses. You might 401k so it can have more. Yeah, so that's a lot more like low mids, mids and low mids. I'm about to release my album. Just got the masters back from Tony Cousin at Metropolis. Let's go, Shanti. I love that. Okay, so I boosted around 401k. So what you probably need to just get a little bit more polished with is your gain staging too, Shipwreck, where you boosted a whole bunch of energy in like those mid lows. 400 to 1,000 hertz on a bass is going to give you a lot of energy, a lot of resonance. Some of that's good, right? Like you said, you're introducing some like harmonics that you wanted in there, some tonal properties that you wanted, some color that you wanted. That's a good thing, right? But what's happening is it's probably like louder by like 3 or 4 dB in perceived loudness, depending on how much you're pushing, how much you're boosting or attenuating there, right? So you're probably increasing a lot of energy in the lows and mid lows that are making everything feel a lot more prominent, as well as really presenting itself in the mix and it just like stealing your headroom. So you got like this sub bass that still has a lot of sub harmonics. It's really, really heavy on the low end, plus a lot of low mids that are very, very full. Now it sounds good, but it might be presenting itself in the mix in a way that's like really, really, really prominent, right? So you can just like keep that boost there if you like the tonal quality, if you like the color of it, but then you might just want to bring it back by 2 or 3 dB to mitigate the amplitude increase that happened whenever you boosted those frequencies, right? You just have to kind of regain. That's what gain staging is, right? It's like you make some adjustments and then on your output, you bring it back down. You compressed something like crazy and it made things a lot quieter. So you suppressed it a bit and then you make up the gain on the other side of it, right? So you're continually, every plugin that you have, every fader that you send stuff to, you're continually readjusting your inputs and outputs to gain stage properly so that things are getting out of control, right? I think that's kind of the biggest thing that I would focus on. It's just control. It's like getting everything like, back where it needs to be every single time. On that master, I think what's happening, you have so much low end energy because it's not controlled on the bus and it's not controlled within the elements themselves. You have so much, I'm talking so much, goodness gracious, I'm like lightheaded. I guess it's ADHD too, it's almost a million miles a minute. You have so much stuff, so much low end energy going to your master two that it's taking up all of your headroom, right? It's so as soon as that bass comes in, it takes up all of your headroom and it's triggering your limiter or it's triggering your compressor. I don't know if you have a compressor on your master at all, but it's at the very least triggering your limiter, right? So what's happening is your mix, all of those different multi-tracks get sent to your master. It triggers that limiter. It's crushing everything. So it's suppressing everything, maybe in a way that you like, but it's suppressing everything. It's compressing everything. So as soon as the bass comes in, as soon as that sub hits, as soon as those bass lines hit the mix, the entire mix is getting suppressed because it's all happening on the master. So everything is getting ducked down. Your high-end elements, your hats, your snares, your higher synths and stuff like that. The bass hits, all of those take a back seat as that compressor or that limiter just crushes the mix, right? Especially if you're getting, let's say like on a limiter, especially 6 to 8 dB of reduction, or, it could potentially be even more. So if you're getting, as soon as the bass hits, it squashes everything, including all of your high-end elements. And then what happens is as soon as the bass, the element that's taking up all of your headroom, leaves the mix, there's now all of this headroom, right? The bass leaves, you have all this space, all of your hats and snares get super loud again, right? And you have this fluctuation, or what you'd call pumping, that's happening in the mix. That elements are coming in, the compressors getting triggered, elements get suppressed, the compressor's untriggered, the threshold lifts, everything comes back to the surface, and you get this constant ebb and flow between all the elements in your mix. And that's where I think all of that effect is happening for you. So what you need on your master, this is not a rule, but it's the way I would typically approach it. I would try to get like 2 dB of compression, and that's it. Like that's max, right? And that's everything in the mix is balanced well. I am just feeding it. Let's say you only have a limiter on there. You have it at a -1 ceiling, and you push it until you are getting -1, right? So like, let me show you real quick, just as a quick example. So I'm going to play this like middle part on this track right now, and I'm going to show you on the, now right now my limiter's not doing anything that I want it to do because it's not set up for this track. It's set up for like my voiceover, but I'm going to throw up this, just the L1 right here. I have it at -1 ceiling. So I do an output of -1, really, really controlled, but I can push the loudness with other plugins and stuff like that. So I'm doing -1. And in this case, I'm going to keep this, it's going to turn everything down. So you can be aware of that. I'm going to bring it down a little bit, and I'm going to play the beat, and I'm just going to bring it till I'm getting like 2 dB of reduction right here on the right side. Right there. See, there's 1.5, 2. That's my voice. Bring it down. $1.6, right? Okay, so right there, I'm hitting 1.6. So in that case, you can see I'm hitting like negative right here. This is my reduction right here on the right side. So I've got my ceiling, I've got my threshold. When I lower this threshold, I increase my loudness until it reaches that threshold, and I'm getting about -1.6 dB of reduction. If I crush this, then I'm going to get clipping. I'm going to get all kinds of because it's a brick wall limiter. I'm getting all kinds of harshness. I'm getting all kinds of clipping and distortion. I'm going to get some pumping in the mix as things release. And what you hear is this a pretty heavy, like, let me actually even bring it farther down here towards the end of the song where this is quite a bit louder and all of these elements are in. And you'll see, you can hear everything in the mix. You can hear everything in the mix. Nothing's pumping and cutting in and out. I might have to raise this threshold a little bit. And there's no pumping at all, even though it's loud and really full. And it allows you to keep like the bass is there. The bass is there, it's present, but it's like really like clean and really sharp and really pointed, as opposed to it being so inflated. I mean, because I could just go to a Pultec and crank 60 hertz and 100 hertz to all shit and make it big and thick and boomy and whatever, but that's not going to translate to any other system. It might sound good in my headphones in the moment, right? It might sound, thick in the moment, but as soon as this goes to any other system, it's going to sound like shit, right? So I need control. I need control. And in this particular production mix, I don't have any buses yet. I haven't even, this is early still, and I want to balance it that way. But what I want you to do is just go to your threshold, and if you find, like, let's say you're at 0, right? It just got really quiet because I changed the threshold here really quick. If I have this at 0 and you're feeding I'm going to bring it up so I can hear myself think. But if you have it at 0 and you have no control over your threshold and you're already getting gain reduction, you've lost, right? Because then you've lost your ability to control your gain reduction, which is why you're getting pumping. So that's why I'm saying make sure you have stages of control. Bring everything down in your mix just a little bit, a couple dB, so you have a little bit of headroom to be able to push things and polish things and structure things in a way that makes sense. And then you have control again. And then you just lower this threshold until you're getting, a dB and a half ish, right? And you can push to 2 if you want to. You can push farther than that if you want to. And then if it's not getting loud enough, I would have stages of mastering techniques, right? I would have some start with a tape saturator, a mastering compressor, then a limiter, and some other things to like give you some stages of control over your master, which is typically what I do, right? So when I start a master, I usually have probably 4 things on there. Typically speaking, this is different track to track, genre to genre, but I usually have some saturation that helps with control and harmonics, helps shave off some of that top end that might come through a little bit harsher, steal your headroom, keeps it a little bit more musical. Mastering compressor, 1 to 2 dB max in order to keep things really tight and controlled and still feeling dynamic. 2 dB is like transparent. You can barely even hear that it's happening, but it's helping control some of those transients that might want to jump through a little bit and make it, a little bit too harsh. That's another stage of control, and then EQ, and then maybe like a final limiter at the end. And there's some nuance to that. There might be a couple other things that I do stylistically to make it more interesting, but thank you for the heartbeat retrack. I'm going to catch up on comments in here in just a second. But I think that's kind of that to me is kind of the word of the day for you is control, right? If you have lost control of your levels, you've lost control of like the inflation of your low end, then there's nothing you can do to take care of that pumping. Reduce all of that, control your low end a little bit better. And then once you get to your master, just look for that 2 dB, 1 to 2 dB. It's just control, and then push the loudness until you get there. And then you should have no problem getting -10, -9 dB LUFs, and then pushing everything nice and loud. You can clip a little bit strategically as well to make it nice and loud and punchy. But that's why your hi-hats and your snare are diving in the mix a little bit there at the end. And I think you'll be in a good spot. I know I'm taking forever, y'all. My brain's not really working. It's late. You were asking about lengthening this a little bit, so let me go to the end of the song and kind of see what my thoughts are there. Because it is only about 90 seconds or so. Let's see. Or it's about 2 minutes total, it looks like. Really quick, let me catch up on these comments because I see some people coming. So as an artist to work with producers, engineers, mixing engineer, to let go and trust is met. That's so true, Shantia. So true. Albrie, what would you do if you were recording at home and the mic is picking up someone mowing the lawn, and the mic was picking up someone mowing the lawn? Sorry, I'm catching up here. Retrack is so good to see you, bro. I appreciate you humming. Thank you so much, Shantia. Albie, let me know if you're still in the chat. Let me know if you're still here, and I got you. Bum 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 no. Dun, 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 dun. All right, let me get back into this outro really quick, and then if Albert's still here, I can answer that. Yeah, this is very sub heavy, so control there is gonna make a world of difference. That's it on tape. Ooh, I love that. That's fire. I love that. So one thing you could do is, I'll just give you a quick idea, and then we'll hop off. One quick idea would just be to take, I like these vocal chops that you have in there. Just do one more drop for like another 30 to 45 seconds and do a halftime with like the same drum. So right now you have this little like D and B fill, right? You have a faster pace and a little bit of move. You could go to a halftime and use that vocal sample as like your main chop right there, coming off of this delay, and just automate it back in as a vocal chop. So let's see. Don't. know what I mean? Like you can have like the trills from the hats. You could bring in like the same sound design at like a halftime with a bass drop and like you could break it down halftime. Would be one idea there, and then use it as like the stat, like keep that going through like the whole structure, right? Something like that, right? Keep that like vocal stab going through as like your main sample through most of that structure, to keep things moving, keep things consistent, keep the energy in there. Excuse me, and then go halftime with the percussion and the bass. And then you can still, because I like the idea of like keeping your same sound design, right? Like I like the idea of still having like some of the basses that you have in there. So I would still use some of the same sound design and have just like have some like 808 slides and some other like interesting like colors and textures and stuff in there. But that'd be one idea. Just to like change up the energy. So it's not the same percussion structure, the same like D&B percussion structure the whole time. I think it would be interesting to like switch it up a little bit and tastefully do it in a slightly different feel, slightly different like BPM, or just like halftime, right there. I think it would be something interesting that would kind of switch up the vibe a little bit. This is Shipwreck Paradise. They're over on Twitch. Shipwreck Paradise. Shout out to Shipwreck, actually, y'all. Show some love. Show some love. Ooh. Ever Snow's in the building. What's up, Ever Snow? So good to see you. How can I submit one of my beats for Track Talk? You can just you can find the steps at my profile. Go to my link. You can see it right here on the screen as well. If you follow those steps right there. Snow, it's so good to see you. I hope you're doing amazing. But y'all, please show some love to Shipwreck Paradise. They're over on Twitch. Love and appreciate you so much. You're amazing. I really like your production structure. It's heavy where it's supposed to be. So the thing that's always a balance with this genre of music is finding how to make things still feel full and powerful and thick and punchy and all the things that you want it to be, right? It should feel that way. It's supposed to feel that way while it's still being like clean enough and open enough and vibrant enough to like make sense on platforms and be loud enough to be able to compete on platforms, right? It's always a sweet spot with like D&B and EDM and house music and even a lot of hip hop. And then same with a lot of like underground rap and stuff like that. Like you want the effect of all of this fullness while still needing to like balance a production structure. And that can be challenging. So you all show some love to Shipwreck. Shipwreck, I'm so glad you sent this in. Thank you so much. Okay. Oh, it's right here. I got you. Let me toss it up. Yeah, we got everything. Twitch and YouTube are up and running right now, so y'all can see everything on Twitch and YouTube. I still have to just throw it up onto the screen really quick. But I got it to where we have everything on TikTok too. Yeah, I should have everything. Yeah, should have everything on here. It's like a little squished for some reason, but it's all right. It's all right. All right. Okay, let me double check. A couple things real quick. And I really do need it. It's 11 p.m. Goodness, it's been a long ass fucking day. Let me see. Let me check something real quick. Will you be around? Let's go, Shipwreck. That's amazing. That's so amazing. I appreciate that so much. Shout out to Shipwreck. Shipwreck said, I actually watch every VOD you have, so I learn more than I know. That's amazing, dude. I appreciate that so much. Will you be around tomorrow, Snow? Shout out to Shipwreck. That's amazing. Yeah, quick reminder, y'all. All the VODs are on YouTube. In fact, I cut down my first one this morning. So I'm working on cutting down all of the at least certain VODs, like certain consultations, cutting them down and posting them as like isolated videos on YouTube. So I did one this morning, I think, that had Zale and May Huntingford from the other day. And I cut that down. Dude, same. I miss Libby. I know. I feel like we've just been working so much. I feel like I miss Libby. She can be. Tomorrow. Zale's amazing. Yeah, Zale's fire. I just posted Zale and Maze this morning. So that one's live on YouTube. So if you ever want to watch the VODs, if you want to like re-reference all of your stuff, they're all on YouTube. Every single, so as soon as we get off this live, this VOD in 30 seconds will be live on YouTube, and you can watch the whole entire thing. And they're labeled, there's a playlist on my YouTube channel that is Track Talk live stream. So you can literally go through all of the different VODs labeled by episodes. So you're like, oh yeah, I submitted my song in episode 5. I can go and check it out right away. That makes it a lot easier. And then I'm going to work on cutting down certain ones, like some like highlights and stuff like that. Let me see. Yeah, I'm trying to think because I've got a long day tomorrow, but I'm still going to my hubby's a multi-award producer. I found something you just honestly. Oh, I love Shanti. I have no doubt. I love it. I would love to connect with him. I would love to. I'm always trying to expand. Ship, welcome to YouTube. I see you. I know. It's been crazy. So I'm going to be gone most of the day tomorrow doing some other stuff, doing some other work. So I won't be in studio all day tomorrow, but I'm still going to go live tomorrow night. So if you will be around, Snow, if you'll be around, set a, maybe, let's see. All right, let me double check some things. Maybe like I'm not positive on the time, but maybe like 7 p.m., maybe even later. It might be a late live, and then I'll sleep in Sunday. But I will be live tomorrow. If you can be around then, just because I can't be on too late tonight because I've got places to be in the morning. I've got to be up at a decent time. Perfect. Love it. 100%. Set a timer. Sexante, welcome in. Okay. That's gonna do it for today, y'all. Oh, you submit. Noki submitted. Okay, hold on. Hold up. Noki, are you gonna be? I haven't seen it, so let me see. Are you gonna be here tomorrow, Noki? Tomorrow night? Ba-da-dun-dun. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-do. Definitely will. I definitely will. Shanta, I appreciate that so much. Thank you for doing that. So let me see. I'm sorry, I'm catching up on some other. Thank you for the roses, Noki. I appreciate you. Hey, you as well, Snow. Appreciate you so much. Did you send credit, Noki? Hold on. I'm double checking some things here. I just want to make sure I got everything. I got to make sure I got everything in order here. It'll be tomorrow night. It'll be like around this time. So I'll be on. Let's say. Oh, okay. So you're fine. I'm gonna make sure you didn't send credit in. So like let's say like 8 p.m. starting at like 8 p.m. tomorrow. Derek, welcome in. That way I can get you, Snow, and a couple other people like in the books for tomorrow night, and we'll get you up on the board. Like between 8 and midnight. I'm central time. 27 years and he has gone private now in the treehouse. Let's go. Please send me. The treehouse sounds familiar. Sounds good, Noki. Okay, beautiful. Yeah, I want to get y'all on the docket tomorrow. That way I already have, because sometimes it takes forever to get people in the submissions, and I'm just waiting. Thankfully, Derek came in early today, and I'm just like spending so much time like waiting for like the first person on the board, and I don't like wasting too much time. So, Snow, thank you so much for the gift. Snow, I appreciate you so much, y'all. I love y'all so much. Thank y'all for the love and support. Noki and Snow, I'm gonna be looking for y'all tomorrow night. I'm assuming it's gonna be the holiday tater is so funny. The holiday, what is it? Holiday tater, something like that. It's so funny. I'm going to be looking for Noki and Snow. I'm going to assume I'll be on starting around 7 or 8 p.m. I'm assuming. I don't know exactly what the day is going to look like, but I know it's going to be long, and I know it's going to be at least, I'm not going to even be home till at least like 5 or 6. So I probably will be live, let's say around 8 o'clock ish. ish, 7 or 8 o'clock, and then I'll be on for a couple hours, like till around now, 11 midnight Central Time, something like that. So Noki and Snow, I'll look for y'all submissions then, and then hopefully we can get a couple other people on the board tomorrow as well. Y'all, I love and appreciate y'all so much. Thank you for your music. Thank you for your vulnerability with your craft and your music. I know it's not an easy thing to do, so I genuinely appreciate it. So Noki, I appreciate you a lot. Snow, thank you for the gifts. All of y'all that submitted today, liked, shared, comment. I see people that followed as well. Thank y'all so much. Quick reminder, I do this at the end of every live. Just a quick reminder, we are live. Wait, about to give to, thank you so much for the heart me, Marshall. I appreciate the heart me so much. Thank you so much. Just a quick reminder for those of you who do not happen to know, if you're in the chat and you don't know who I am and what I do, my name is Torvik. I'm a full-time audio engineer, producer, and session musician. That is what I do for a living. I've done it for 13 plus years. Hey, let's go. Thank you for the fest gear. I appreciate it so much, Shantia. Thank you for that. Your generosity does not go unnoticed. I appreciate it. And if I missed anybody, I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you for the love. Those glasses are crazy. That I do feel like I'm wearing pit vipers to like a festival in California. Noki, I appreciate you so much. So, but anyways, that is what I do for a living. And I have done for 13 plus years. I'm a classically trained musician. That is that is the side of the business that I work on vastly the most. I mean, like we've been live for 2 hours today. That's 2 hours of my day. The rest of my time is spent doing a lot of the other stuff. So if y'all are ever interested in services, please make sure to reach out through either TikTok, Instagram, or you can go to my link tree and you can click on my website, theobsidiankey.com. That is the media company that myself and my wife run, and we do a lot of different things through that company, but you can reach out through the contact form there, and we can get in touch as far as budget, timeline, stuff like that for one of your records. So if you are looking for a session musician, I have guitars, bass, synthesizers, keys, piano, live drums on the other side of the room here. Anything that you may need for your track as far as session work goes. If you're looking for full production packages, if you're looking for a mixing and mastering engineer, those are the things that I do for a living. So if you're ever interested, reach out at any point. I would love to get in touch with you and see how I could help. If I'm not taking on the full record, just help facilitate adding some of the tasteful things that would maybe take it to the next level. So if you're interested in that, just let me know. Shoot me a message on any platform, and I'll get back to you as fast as I possibly can, while still figuring out everything else. So anyways, I appreciate y'all so much. Hopefully we'll see a good chunk of y'all tomorrow. We'll be back with some more consultations, some more production stuff as well. And if there's ever any particular specific content or live streams y'all would like to see, let me know as well. Shoot me a message or comment on some of my videos and let me know if there's something specific you think would be really beneficial and really valuable to you. And I'll do my best to facilitate something like that. Good night, y'all. I appreciate y'all so much.